What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Untitled Game Channel. I am AJ Gells. Guys, it is time for part 2 of episode 96 of the weekly show. I know, I'm already later than I wanted to be for this. I'm filming this on Monday. Mostly because my Sunday, I got playing Need for Speed Payback and lost track of time, and then I'm still level grinding in Assassin's Creed Origins so I can try and get the Trial of Anubis on camera. So that's actually what I'm going to be doing after I finish this video. I'm probably going to do another 2 more news videos later tonight, and those will probably be up tomorrow for last week. I'm sorry. I know, like I said, I'm running late. End of my semester. Everything's going to be weird for another week or so, but I'm on Thanksgiving break next weekend, so there we go. We cheer on Black Friday and whatnot. But either way, if you're new to the show, basically what I do, I gather news from around the web, IGN this week, because I'm lazy. And we just sit and talk about video games, have some fun. You can find an entire timestamp of when I switched to each topic down in the description below, along with links to all the articles that I talk about. Please go visit these websites. I do not do the writing; these people do, and they're all talented writers and whatnot. Anything else to start with? Oh, if I uploaded part 3 of my Need for Speed Payback Let's Play, and the video is currently blocked worldwide because of about a minute and a half worth of music. I couldn't remove the song, so now I'm muting it. So it's all it's all processing the edits and everything. So if part 4 goes up before that, I apologize. It's weird. 3 will be unlocked hopefully soon. So moving on, today, right now in this video, I'm going to be covering 3 topics. These are probably going to be shorter, or not shorter topics, these are going to be longer topics individually, so this video should end up being around a half an hour, hopefully, if I don't ramble too much. Starting off, we have EA buys Respawn for $455 million. New Titanfall confirmed, article Seth G. Macy, IGN. Respawn Entertainment, the studio behind the Titanfall franchise, is being bought by EA. Both companies are already working together on several projects, including a VR game, a Star Wars game, and I quote, a new title in the Titanfall franchise, end quote. EA announced the acquisition today, saying the move, and I quote, builds on a successful publishing partnership, end quote, already in place between the two companies. Okay, one, do we really want EA controlling another Star Wars game after what they did to Amy Hennig? Really? I mean, I talked about this in a video late last week of EA's bad business practices. I mean, as far as buying Respawn, I guess I understand it. I mean, they publish a lot of their titles, their titles anyway, so I guess it makes sense to bring Respawn under their umbrella, but it worries me for these games, what EA is going to do to them. I mean, what can they do to a new Titanfall game? Look, I mean, Titanfall 2 was fun. I liked BB and, I can't remember the main character's name. I really just cannot remember. I mean, that was fun, but, I mean, what the hell could they do to another Titanfall game? I mean, worst comes to worst, another one comes out and it's mediocre. I'll see what they do with the VR game, but I'm so worried about them having another Star Wars game, because I believe Respawn was working on an RPG, not what Amy Hennig's was, where Amy Hennig was working on that single-player, sort of like Uncharted-esque Star Wars game. This one, I believe, was an RPG. That worries me. Respawn CEO Vince Zampella said the move, and I quote, brings the resources and support, end quote, his company needs for its, and I quote, long-term success. We're excited to combine our strengths, he said of the acquisition. In a statement on Respawn's site, Zampella said, and I quote, there will be no layoffs or major organization changes, end quote, at Respawn, and games, and I quote, currently in development are continued as planned, end quote. EA is paying $151 million upfront for Respawn, with $164, and I quote, in long-term equity paid out over the next 4 years. There is also a long-term consideration worth maximum $140 million. Back in August, Respawn promised fans there would be more Titanfall on the way, with Zampella saying Respawn is, and I quote, heavily invested in the Titanfall franchise. In May, EA first announced Respawn was working on a new third-person Star Wars game. Yeah, I knew about that one. Heavily invested in Titanfall. Yeah, we've known that Respawn is really working with a new Titanfall game. Again, my question is, what are we going to see? Are we going to see more of the same? Are they really going to push it and do something really great? I mean, nothing against Titanfall 2. I think Titanfall 2 was a decent game. I think I scored it a 7 out of 10. But what I would have done is I would not have put it in between Battlefield 1 and not Star Wars, might as well have been Star Wars, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Was it Infinite Warfare? Whatever the last year's Call of Duty was. I would not have put that game between it. I would have shot for, even though it's a franchise title, I wouldn't have put it up against those two big budget shooters. I would have put it earlier on in the year, personally. But all in all, I think this is a good move for Respawn. It just makes me really worried, given everything that we know about EA and what the hell they're doing with video games and and how they're focusing on microtransactions moving forward. I mean, I talked about this yesterday in the last part in this episode, whatever the hell you want to call it, where I talked about Take-Two focusing on microtransactions. This stuff really scares me. I mean, how to put it? That scares me, but it really makes me nervous about where video games are going. And I guess that also kind of fights what I said yesterday, where I said I see that the single player story, like narrative single player games, are going to disappear. But I'm really afraid they're going to start getting eked out by game after game of these games as a service model, which is what I like to call them. You know, stuff like Destiny, Skull and Bones that Ubisoft is working on. We have Sea of Thieves. These games that really aren't narrative bases. They're just big chat rooms that is kind of a game, or stuff like Grand Theft Auto Online. That stuff is really fun, but how to put it? I can see where they keep making money, but at the same time, I don't. Sorry, I'm trying to think how I want to say this. I can see where that continues to make the money, but I don't know. I think if every game does something like that, if every game starts doing these games as a service thing. I mean, it's fine when we have a Destiny and a GTA Online and Skull and Bones, and we're going to have Red Dead Redemption Online, or whatever the hell that thing's going to be. They're all a little bit different. Destiny, we have the sci-fi space kind of thing. GTA Online's urban city, modern day, just mayhem. Red Dead is going to be cowboys. You have Skull and Bones, which is pirates, and the same with Sea of Thieves, but Sea of Thieves is a little bit more cartoony. I can understand stuff like that, or whatever the hell. I don't know why EA is doing. Doesn't EA do the Old Republic, the MMO, which everybody wants to keep telling me how Destiny and these things aren't MMOs, and I kind of look at them and go, they kind of are. They kind of are MMOs, not technically, but they follow a lot of the similar sort of. I don't want to say guidelines. I'm trying to think of the word. They follow similar patterns, in my opinion. And I just think if they saturate the market with too many of them, I think that's really going to hurt sales. While, and this is one of those, it's kind of going to be a double standard. I don't think you can saturate the market with these kind of games, but you can saturate the market with single-player games. And the reason I think that is, I think each single-player game is different. While all of these multiplayer-focused games are all kind of the same at the end of the day. Nothing against them, but they're all kind of the same. I mean, you play Ubisoft's The Division and compare it to Destiny. I mean, they're the same model. I mean, really, they're just different themes. That's about it. I don't know. Again, this is all my opinion. If you disagree with me, you can go into the comments and tell me how wrong I am or argue with me or whatever. I welcome that. I am very happy with arguing people on this stuff. But this is all just kind of off the top of my head, off the cuff, just me spitballing here. But I see them as, I see that saturating the market with these sort of games isn't going to help the market and is going to end up hurting sales in the long run, compared to if we focus and buckle down on making good story-based content, like a good story-based Titanfall, a good story-based Star Wars game, like what Amy Hennig was working on with her Star Wars game, and if Respawn, which I believe, again, third person, I believe it was an RPG, if they do what they do, make a better-looking KOTOR. I love KOTOR. God, it's so hard to play with the way it looks. That's, again, this is all my opinion. And also, I'm not going to say 455 million is too much or too little. I don't know enough about business to talk about that. Moving on, we have GameStop to launch unlimited used game rental service. Our article, Alex Gilyadev, like I said at the beginning, IGN. The article reads, GameStop has announced a new unlimited used game rental service, and it's launching next week. According to an advertisement post on Reset Era, the subscription service called Power Pass lets you rent a used game, return it, and then rent another title as often as you'd like over a 6-month period. At the end of the 6-month period, you'll get to keep any one of the games you rented. The 6-month service costs $60, which translates to $10 a month. Signups will begin on November 10th, and the pass must be activated by January 31st of next year. The service is limited to GameStop Power-Ups Rewards members, but a free version of the membership will work. You'll only be able to rent games from GameStop stores and not via the company's online library. You'll also be able to purchase the service from someone else, so long as they too are a Power-Ups Reward member. Plans for Power Play service have been confirmed to Polygon by a GameStop representative. Be sure to bookmark blah 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 blah. Right here, okay, so it's talking about this and that the pass has to be activated by January 31st. So that's making me think that maybe this is kind of like a test run of something that they're going to be doing. But all in all, I think this is a good idea. I think this is GameStop trying to get people into the brick and mortar store and you know, buying used games, because a lot of people don't think kind of realize used games are where a lot of these stores make a lot of money, because unlike when you buy a new game, you have you buy your $60 game at GameStop. Some of that money goes to GameStop, some of that money goes to the publisher, some of it goes to the developer, and it's all parceled out. You buy a used game from GameStop, all that money goes to GameStop. So I think this is just a way to kind of draw people in, and not without saying, here's 80,000 weird small little pre-order things that you can get from buying at GameStop, and we're gonna I used to love going to GameStop, and I still kind of do, but at the same time, I don't like having all of the extra crap shoved on me. It's like, here, buy a shirt. Oh, here, buy this. Here, spend an extra $40 at a time. I'm like, dude, I'm already spending $100 on Assassin's Creed. Leave me alone. That's just my opinion on that part. But I think over a 6-month period for $60, this is definitely the service is definitely worth it. I'll get into the actual service itself, not what GameStop's doing, because I think it's kind of obvious what GameStop's doing. They're just trying to pull people in, and I'm gonna guess their theory is, we get you in to pick up a used game. Well, now you're going to maybe buy something. You're going to buy something else. You're going to see something that you like. I mean, it's that concept of getting people in the store, and then that while you're in the store, you're going to buy it. Sort of, you see something and you're going to pick it up and buy it, sort of concept. The thing I really like about the service is at the end of the 6 months, you get to keep any game you rented. I think that's really interesting. So it doesn't have to be the last one you rented. I was listening to a friend who was talking to me about this, and he said, I want to read like the fine print that it turns out you can only like rent 10 games, and I don't think that there's going to be something like this. I think this is going to be as straight up as it says. But all in all, I think this is a good service. I mean, this is basically turning GameStops into Redbox. Redbox for video games, or like GameFly, except it has an actual store and you don't have to deal with the mail. Yeah, I'm going in a circle here right now, but overall, I don't have a problem with the service. I think this is a good idea from GameStop. It's just like Game Trust with the their publishing wing. I think all of this is smart business practices on behalf of the store to just try and draw people in, because physical sales are dying compared to what digital's doing. There was something else about this that I'm trying to remember here. Something else somebody brought up to me, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my theory. That this is GameStop, again, just trying to eke out. I mean, you're giving them $60. Oh, I remember the comparison I want to make. This reminds me of, if anybody remembers back in the day, Electronic Boutique, EB Games. It kind of became GameStop. I don't think it became GameStop, but that's what GameStop basically replaced. But what EB would do is you could go in, you could buy a game, and within so many days, if you returned it, you could get a complete and total refund. So you could basically go in, buy a new game, beat it, walk in, just exchange it out for a new game, go home, play it, beat it. So as long as you just were able to keep doing that, you could keep returning new games. It was an interesting theory, but I don't think it really helped them in the long run. But again, as far as I'm concerned, this is GameStop just trying to do whatever they can to make a buck, and I think some people would have a kind of say, oh, that's proof that they're dying. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's smart business because I think this is a good deal. I think it's worth it, especially seeing that some of the stuff that you can find used. I mean, you can find games that came out 2 weeks ago used at a GameStop. So I think this is a great service, especially for $60 over 6 months. Okay, these topics are not taking as long as I thought they would. Either way, the video game voice actor strike is officially over. The longest actor strike in U.S. history. That's interesting. Article Joe Scrubbles, IGN. After a new ballot, SAG-AFTRA has voted overwhelmingly to end the year-long video game voice actor strike. Beginning in October 2016, members of the Screen Actors Guild America Federation of Television and Radio Artists refused to work with the likes of Disney, Activision, and Take-Two, citing the lack of a fair payment deal for voiceover artists working for video game companies. In September, a tentative agreement was made with all 11 affected publishers to bring the strike to an end after publishers agreed to bonus payments, more transparent contracts, and means to combat vocal stress. Basically, what I believe that is, more specifically, is with bonus payments, it's instead of getting just getting something up front, they also get, say the game, I think they get payments at certain sales markers. So if the game, this is for example, I don't know specifics. So it's say that in your contract you get paid this much for just doing the game. All right, you get your upfront payment. Now once the game sells 50,000 copies, you get this extra payment. And if it sells this many more copies, here's more money. That's the basic concept. For that, more transparent contracts, basically what they wanted is a concept of what the voice role will entail. I believe it's like sex and nudity, which is what kind of weird to me. I mean, I understand that the voice actors and whatnot do their do a lot more mocap now and a lot more face, and so it's basically their face on a body. So it's, I guess it's weird to some people. I don't know. I think that's an odd thing. But again, I don't think more transparent contracts, on the face of it, that's not a bad thing. I mean, anything can be, taken poorly and misused, but overall, I think more, like I said, transparent contracts won't mean anything. And means to combat vocal stress, from what I remember, is it's basically hazard pay. It's basically this voice is going to involve a lot of yelling, or Kratos. This is going to involve a lot of yelling or strain on your voice. So here's like hazard pay, or certain, I think it's like breaks to give you time for your voice to kind of recuperate from doing stuff like that. I mean, again, this is all I'm giving kind of the base examples. There are more specific examples out there. Let's see here. Keith Fairley, chair of the SAG-AFTRA Interactive Negotiating Committee, said, and I quote, "The bonus payments we asked for are now part of the video game industry and are a base from which to build upon. I'm excited for all that we have achieved," end quote. The new agreement becomes effective today and will expire on November 7th, 2020. The strike has resulted in many non-union voice actors taking on roles, perhaps most notably Ashley Birch. Did not reprise her starring role as Chloe in the Life is Strange prequel Before the Storm. Today marks the end of the longest actors strike in U.S. history. Personally, I like the new chick who voiced Chloe in Life is Strange in Before the Storm. So, real quick, give me a second to look something up. All right, back. Sorry, I had to look something up. For some reason, I knew Ashley Birch did. Worked with Guerrilla Games, and she was in Horizon Zero Dawn, which that was just a little weird to me because I'm excited. The strike started in 2016, and she wasn't in the Life is Strange prequel, but she did Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe it's because the contract was decided ahead of time. Maybe because the voice acting was already done. I'm not sure about that. If anybody knows any specifics about that, please tell me. Maybe I'm misunderstanding how their contracts work. Like I said, I mean, the voice acting could have been done way earlier. Maybe they didn't have a problem with Guerrilla, or I think Sony published that one. Maybe they just didn't have a problem with them. Whatever, or maybe I'm misunderstanding the terms of the strike. I don't know. Feel free to tell me in the comments. I can always be wrong. But that's the basic concept of what was happening. I agree with how to put it. I agree with most of their demands. like I said, the transparent contracts. I can understand the bonus payments. The only ones that I thought were a little much were the combat vocal stress kind of thing. I mean, I understand the concept of hazard pay, but at the same, how to put it, I don't know. I think it should be the same as any actor who like does their own stunts. That's my opinion. But whatever. Overall, I think that was fair, and I welcome back the voice actor strike. Am I the only one who's kind of thought really hasn't? I haven't noticed that massive problem. I mean, I haven't had a problem with a lot of voice acting in games as of late. I still can't figure out what the hell it is with. Wait a minute. Maybe it was because Before the Storm is EA. I'm sorry. I'm losing train of thought here. What was I saying? Totally lost my train of thought there. Sorry. Oh, right. I haven't noticed a massive difference during the strike. I mean, overall, I mean, it's like stuff like Life is Strange. I think the voice acting was good in the first one. I actually liked the first one. I thought it was much better than the original game. But then the second episode, I thought the performance overall was just a lot more stoical. It was a lot more bland than it was in the first game, or the first episode. And we still don't have episode 3's release date. That still ticks me off. But you know, that's a story for a different day. But yeah, that's about it. This video didn't take anywhere near as long as I was thinking it would. I just kind of, I don't know. I thought these topics would take more time. Otherwise, I would have had some more set up. But I think this is a fairly good video. I kind of gave my talks. These also just didn't fit in with anything else that I was going to talk about. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. As always, you can comment down below. I'm always happy to hear your opinions on any story I talk about. Always happy to get feedback. Please, all I ask is it doesn't have to be positive. I ask it to be constructive. That'll help me improve and make this channel better and bring more people in. That's all I ask. You can also message me through any of the social media that's in the description. That's Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Again, always happy to interact with you guys, talk video games, whatever. Ask Samori Roden. Me and him, we chat on Twitter and we chat through the comments and all that. Anything else? Other than that, like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time, guys. Until then, I'm AJ Gels, the Untitled Gaming Channel. I'm out.